Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope you are fine wherever you are. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dil Rahman. I am from Class B3 2019. In this great opportunity, I'm going to deliver a presentation, and the title is Risk-Taking and Student Speaking Ability. Do they correlate? By Lady Suryani and Ningtyas Aurelinia Argawati. No? So let's go up to next slide. Here are contents. The contents divide into 5 big points. The first one is introduction. The second one is literature review. The third one is research methodology. The fourth one is finding and discussions. The fifth one is conclusion. Well, so let's go up to the next slide. Well, here are the introduction. As language teacher, one should understand some psychological issues related to their students during their learning process. One of the psychological issues is their level of risk-taking. The student's speaking ability somehow depends on some psychological issues such as motivation, self-esteem, or risk-taking. So, in these slides of introduction, divide into 3 big points. The first one is risk-taking, the second one is speaking ability, the third one is relation between risk-taking and speaking. Well, now let's go up to the next slide. You are risk-taking. Risk-taking is a willingness of the students to make a decision involving something new and different without having the primary focus and success or failure. Based on Bank 1999, page 13. So, let's go to the next slide. Here are speaking ability. Based on Brown 2007, page 4, defines speaking as an interactive process of constructing meaning that involves producing, receiving, and processing speech of sounds as the main instruments. Well, so let's go up to the next slide. Here are relations between risk-taking and speaking. Liu and Jackson 2008, who states that there was a significant and positive relationship between language-class risk-taking and student self-research proficiency in second language English speaking. Based on the theories above, it can be concluded that risk-taking is an important characteristic of successful learning of a second, revealing the student's willingness to make decisions involving something new and different without having the primary focus on success or failure. Well, let's go up to the next slide. Here are literature review. Based on Hassana 2007, Brown 2007, Part 4, BB 1983, Liu and Jackson 2008, there are some psychological variables which may influence the student's way of learning for basic skills of English. One of them is risk-taking. Then speaking is the first mode in which children acquire language. It is the scale by which they are most frequently judged and through which they may make or lose friends. Bigot points the use of speaking on making friends, and he mentioned losing friends at the same time. There is an emphasis that speaking is important in students' daily life. So, let's go up to the next slide. Here are research methodology. The method used in this research is quantitative research method with correlation design. According to Crow 1996, as cited in Suryani 2015, quantitative method is used to examine questions that can be best answered by collecting and statistically analyzing data that are in numerical form. Then, this correlation examining the relationship between psychological variable or risk-taking and the dependent variable or speaking ability. Now, let's go up to the next slide. Here are instruments. The researchers used speaking tests and questionnaire about risk-taking and speaking ability as the instruments to gather the data. Now, let's go up to the next slide. Here are the finding and discussion page. Before examining the correlation between those two variables, the normality test was conducted. The results showed that the data were in normal distribution, so that the analysis was statistically continued using person-product moment. From the calculation, side took type of both risk-taking and speaking were 0.000, which was lower than the level of significance 0.05. It means that the null hypothesis is rejected, and the final result holds that there is a correlation between risk-taking and speaking ability, while the person correlation reached the point of 0.685, which means that the correlation between those two was large. Now, let's go up to the next slide. So here are data to support the result. This is based on test of normality. We can see risk-taking and speaking, the two variables of these points. Let's go up to the next slide. Here are results of correlation tests. We can see in this page risk-takings and speaking variables. Now, let's go up to the next slide. Here are conclusions. Finally, we could conclude that risk-taking can be used to take into account on choosing some methods of teaching speaking. Well, so let's go up to the next slide. Here, so thank you so much for the attention, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.